So I've fallen in love again with the Kershaw Emerson collaboration knives, and recently picked up the CQC-10K. So, recently we just did the video a couple weeks ago on the 11K, big monster scimitar feeling blade that breaks all the rules in my pocket knife EDC rulebook, but I still carry it, still love it. So I loved it so much, it connected with me so much, I wanted to get the CQC-10, which is just a slightly smaller, thinner version with a more hunting buoy clip versus the scimitar style, Persian style buoy clip on this one. So that's what we're gonna be looking at today, and we will be discussing it in comparison to the 11K as we take an in-depth look at the 10K. So let's go ahead, see what this little guy can do, and if this is going to be the right CQC blade or EDC blade for you. Well, we're back home, got a cup of coffee to help this review go along. Hopefully I won't go too fast because of that caffeine. But let's go ahead and look at the blade and talk about its performance. Now, this is similar but different in the design of the CQC-11 that we recently did. Totally dig this knife. Has a very scimitar, Prince of Persia, big, beefy, fat design that I should not like, but that I do. Now, as you can see, this CQC-10 down here is very similar in size, but it definitely has a different blade profile in that it is more of a classic, like Arkansas toothpick buoy design, hunting buoy clip design, classic to the US. So that's kind of what you're gonna find that's different. Obviously, in the blade is overall shorter in the sense of from spine to edge. Now it's 3.5 inches overall, hollow grind, massive hollow grind that's gonna do fantastically well as a slicer. This thing sliced almost as good as this guy. It just doesn't have quite the belly, but close, that the CQC-11 will have. Fantastic for all your EDC tasks. That stonewash finish, it is 0.12 thick, and that tip is rather precise and somewhat delicate. It's going to stab like crazy. You'll be able to penetrate packaging, plastics. CQC obviously would do those type of tasks as well with that clip, but there's no reinforcement right there at the tip, so it's not overly strong. The CQC-11 definitely has a wider, fatter tip that's more reinforced. So just kind of take that in consideration. It is HCR 14 MOV steel, which is basically HCR 13 MOV. I mean, there's really no difference there, which means it's super easy to tune up, easy to get a razor sharp edge on it, but it will dull on you pretty quick. And you can even see here with the action that we've done in this video, I have like 2 little burrs up here, probably from when we were out in the grass cutting that cardboard, going through, hitting the ground, hitting a little rock or something, get a little burr. So it'll tune up super easy, but it's also going to get those little chips and burrs pretty quick, particularly if you're hitting anything, like as you're going through the cardboard or anything like that. So just keep that in consideration. Super easy to tune up and get razor sharp, but it's going to take some time for you to work on it, it's going to dull really quick, and you'll be able to resharpen it really quick. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But that's the overall blade shape for the price point. It's definitely doable, and I like the hunting style, classic style buoy clip design. Now, deployment, there's 2 parts to this deployment. Now, you get your Emerson thumb disc. They're very well known for that. It's gonna give you a Phillips head screwdriver. I've never had that, like loosen up on me or anything. Pretty easy to work with. If it ever did, you could totally remove it if you didn't feel like you needed it, or whatever you want to do, maintenance. Very well designed though, and it is totally ambidextrous, right or left, which is super nice. This does have Teflon bushings in here, or nylon bushings, which, it's doable, but bronze phosphorus is the way to go. Costs probably less than $1 to manufacture it. More with that, so charge us an extra $1 on all these designs and throw bronze phosphorus bushings on there, and this will be even better. The detent is good. You can see there it's got the little detent ball right there, so the detent is nice and going to hold it into place, which is good. Now, the second form of deployment is the wave feature, which Emerson is known for. You hook this onto your pants pocket, and bam, it's going to fly open. So it makes it very quick to deploy. Now, the thing to note is that depending on the way your pants are cut, that may catch onto your pants every time. So some pants that I own, I'm pulling this out of my pocket, it's gonna open the blade. You just need to be ready for that. Most of my pants pockets, I have to think about what I'm doing to make the wave function work, but That's just something to consider. I really like the wave feature. I think it's really cool, and it's really quick for the deployment, which I totally dig. Our centering is dead center as well. So for a Chinese made, budget knife, very nice centering, perfect on either side. Haven't had any sort of floating, and I've worked with this a lot. Now the frame lock is awesome, super strong frame lock. When we open that guy up, it's about 3/4 of the way back there, hitting the back. I mean, you're not getting any sort of wobble or play. This is a super, super strong, tough knife. So if you like your heavier, kind of strong knives, then this is definitely for you. That frame lock works fantastically well with that stainless steel. So price point. This is another great thing with these Emersons. I really just kind of fell in love with Emerson Kershaw collaborations with these two knives. I reviewed about two, I think, a couple years ago when they first started doing this. They were good. I just kind of, they went by the wayside, as many pocket knives do, because I've always got, rotations and things going on. But when these two came out recently, I was like, dang, I'm really happy, really excited that I got these. And it reminded me of just the value to performance, to options that these knives and all the Emerson line offer you. Now, this guy, when I purchased it on Amazon, was $40. It's floating anywhere between 35 and 40 bucks. That's pretty average for any of the Emerson line, including the CQC-11. So you're getting these massive, strong knives that have decent steel. They're not super steels or, by any means. It's a budget steel, but super easy to work with, super easy to maintain, reliable, with cool features you don't find on most other $35 to $40 pocket knives. You just don't find that. You're gonna have to spend a lot more money to get these features for Emerson knives, and then just the strength that you get is hard to find in this budget world out there. So we will have links in the description below over to Amazon. That's a great way to help support the channel. We are always appreciative when you guys use those hyperlinks, and helps us continue to do what we do here when you guys use those. We will have these two guys in the links, but also several other Kershaw Emersons that I've tested and reviewed that I recommend as well, because of the value to bang to buck, to cool factor, to performance that you're getting with these designs. So here is the Emerson 10. I'm going to bring in the Emerson 11, the CQC-11, just for some perspective here. Same pocket clips, blacked out. You're going to get your little skull logo guy from Emerson there. It's nice that it's blacked out. I always dig that. It's going to give good resistance in your pockets. It's not going to thrash your pockets. It's tip up, only right or left. So totally ambidextrous there. So righties, lefties, you're going to totally dig this, particularly with the disc and the wave. All of it is totally ambidextrous. You are going to get the G10 obviously on the handle here. So that is going to affect for lefties. There will be a little bit more texturing, could possibly thrash your pocket a little bit more. Not the case with the stainless steel on the right hand side. Huge generous lanyard hole, but extremely obnoxious in the pocket. It's going to ride really high. Now originally, that's again CQC, so you can grab it super quick, pull it out, but we're talking like 1.5 inches sticking up, and the CQC-10 over here is actually even higher than the CQC-11. So just keep that into mind. I mean, this is noticeable, and with all the stainless here, if this was all blacked out, it wouldn't be as bad, but with the stainless, people are going to know you're carrying a pocket knife. So if that doesn't bother you, not a big deal. If that's something maybe at the office you would be a little concerned about, just take that into consideration. But decent pocket clip, would have preferred a loop over with just a little bit of a higher ride. On to the handle here. Now we have green G10 on one side, and we got that stainless steel with that frame lock here on the other. And this is going to only be 0.41 inches thick, which is awesome. I mean, a lot of pocket knives are pushing 1/2 inch. This is much thicker here. This is nice and slim, and that helps not only with the ride in your pocket, but also with the carry weight to kind of help cut down on weight. So you have this G10 scale with a thin form of the stainless steel, then you have a thicker piece of stainless steel. Flow through construction with these standoff pillars there, so you can blow this thing all out, which is super nice, but still giving you great traction. And I wear large size gloves, as you guys know. And with that Emerson wave acting as a thumb ramp, they did not do aggressive jimping, which is good. I do not like super sharp, hard jimping. So this is doable. I hold it in my grip right here. You got a really nice cutout. You're locked into place right there. And then you even got this kind of contouring hook. So, I mean, you are super locked into place, and you're going to have a lot of real estate to work with. And in a reverse grip, I mean, I got my thumb rest right there. Bam. I mean, I'm not going to slide down and hurt myself with this knife. I mean, I am locked into place with this design here. Now, this weighs 5 ounces. Normally, that is like the max I ever carry. Just to give you some examples here, this is also 5 ounces, the Gecko from Steel Will. And there's just something about the way that this Emerson 10K and the 11K work that it just seems a little bit more EDCable. I think it's probably the slimness and just the balance of the knives. I like carrying these in the pocket actually even more than the Gecko, in the sense that I just don't notice it as much. It's just as heavy, and this one's going to be about 5.9 ounces. This again is 5 ounces, but they're about the same size. You know, this is going to be 4.75 inches overall length there, but you just don't notice it. Like I noticed my Rat Model 1, which is about 5 ounces. You know, that Gecko, that I just don't notice it because of how slim it is and how probably long it is and balance. It's different, and I love that aspect to the knife. Finally, we do have all these Phillips head screwdrivers and a flat head over here to take this whole thing apart if you wanted to. Most knives, you know, have some sort of like star driver or, you know, Allen head. I'm 50-50 on this whole setup. You know, sometimes you can strip out Phillips heads a little easier. So just keep that in consideration. Make sure you have a really good, perfectly sized Phillips head when you are working on any of the screws. Makes it a little easier to, you know, take care of and take apart, but just keep that in mind. You don't want to strip these out and then you can't, you know, ever work on it. So good ergos though, particularly for more of a CQC combat, close quarters combat designed knife, but also great for EDC. So in conclusion, my final thoughts on this knife. Totally dig it. It's actually just about as wicked a slicer as the 11K is. Not as big and boisterous and just not quite as Persian inspired, if you will. And it will have a slightly better tip for piercing. So not to say that the 11K is bad, because I totally love it and I'm going to keep it in the collection to EDC on a regular basis. But I think this knife is actually the better overall all-around knife. As we discussed, this tip just doesn't quite stab and penetrate into your packaging or whatever you may be piercing as well as this design does, and you're still going to get almost all the same slicing capability. This is just pure cool factor and just massive factor that I like this thing. This thing is actually the more functional of the two that have recently been released. So I hope that kind of helps you out decide which one is best for you, or get both like me and love rocking both. Just depends on your flavor and on the day of the week. So as always, thank you so much for coming over here today, guys, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Any questions you have, I'll answer in the comments below. Check us out on all the relevant social media. That's a great way to see what's up and coming. Check out like the new videos that are going to be coming up. I'm just waving my hands in the air, but they're popping up right now. Click on those as well so you can see what else we've recently posted. We're posting up stuff every week, and always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.